Yes. Yes. Wow. Listen. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so happy you're here. And I just feel so excited, you know? And I can't explain why, but I think I know why. So first of all, my name is John Paul from WPcover.com. I'm a WooCommerce developer. Some say I'm a crazy person, and they just might be right. But what is for sure is that I'm here for you. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have a good discussion. We are going to talk about AI. We are going to talk about working from home. We are going to work about freelance work in general, freelance work as a developer, freelance development work, running your SEO agency. That's what you do, because we work quite a bit with SEO agencies. And that's what we are going to talk about today. So thank you once again for being here. Thank you so much. Forgive me for doing this short notice. I was supposed to do this on Wednesday, but there are so many things happening this week that I just had to do this live today. I know you may be celebrating Easter, so happy Easter if you are. And if you're not, I just hope you have a good day. So let's jump into our first topic of discussion today. So the first thing I want to talk about is something that you may have read in my newsletters or in my content, is about the role generative AI plays in our lives. Now, the important thing to realize is it is not true that AI will take away all our work and so forth. Now, I know from firsthand experience that the fact that there's generative AI, certain work has been taken away, right? So, well, I don't do it as much now, but certain kinds of work, ghostwriting work, actually shrunk to some degree um, with the advent of AI. But that work was usually the lower paid work. That's what disappeared for the most part, and that might disappear. But the reason why that disappears is not because AI is doing such a great job, is that because the people who were using, writers for these lower end jobs were mostly trying to do this for SEO purposes, not for people to read their content, but to pretend to Google that they have quality content, right? Because they wanted to use that to get higher up in ranking. But for people who need to communicate ideas and original ideas, not just regurgitate information or share old stuff, or perhaps even share stuff that doesn't exist, because generative AI makes up stuff a lot. For those people, the bar has gone even higher. It's become more difficult because while there is some, there are some good things. There's a lot of interest and innovation happening with AI. I'm not gonna even pretend there isn't. Like, that would be crazy. The question is, what is that innovation going to do for the people? And again, I think I've used the analogy of television before, where it was thought because there's gonna be television, it would be easy to spread information and for people to become more educated. But that's not what's happened with television. When we look at the internet, the same thing. Yes, indeed, there's a lot of knowledge available, but most people don't use it. With AI, it's going to be the same thing. What's going to happen is high performers, people who are good at what they do, people who are willing to do the manual labor, the difficult, mundane, boring things to get the work done, they are the ones who will benefit from generative AI, or at least the most. The people who think that AI is going to replace the boring, mundane, painful work you have to do to become a master at a skill, those people are going to fail even worse than before, maybe at an accelerated rate. Because AI is a tool. If you were the only person on the planet who had AI, right? Let's say you were the only person, and it was not a widely known thing, then yeah, you could churn out, for example, content and make SEO content and just rise in rankings because nobody could outdo you with the output and amount of content you could create, right? But that's not what the case is. Everybody has access to the same technology. So then we are all equal in that sense. So who's going to do better? It comes back to square one. The person who does the background work understands the fundamentals of what they're doing. So an artist who really knows their art might be able to use generative AI to enhance what they have created, to take it to the next level. A film director who knows how to direct a good film may be able to use AI to, create some interesting stories. The same with photography, writing, and so forth. If you use it as a tool that supplements what you're doing, it may be very useful. I'm not saying it will be, it may be. Because at some point you ask yourself, what is it really doing? Right? And another thing people are forgetting is that humans, we don't just want to watch movies, we want to feel a connection to people. So if you make a movie entirely using AI, which at some point we will have a full feature film where they will lie to us that it was mostly done with AI because it won't be possible. But let's say it was made with AI, the images were made with artificial intelligence. The person who made that would have to know a lot about storytelling, about film directing, entertaining audiences, how to sell a good message. They would have to know that. And then that's how they'll be able to create it. So AI will open some doors, will reduce the barrier to entry in certain places, in certain fields, but it will not take away the need for hard work. So if you are lazy, AI is not going to do anything for you. It's not going to help you. It's not going to make you money. It's not going to make you better at producing things that you do not understand. So that's what my stand is on AI. That's what I believe it is, that you can and should use it if you find use for it. I have experimented with it. I still don't find use and other than parodying AI, right? So I've made some videos which basically make fun of AI using AI. So that's the most useful I've found it. For writing, I find it completely useless, except for checking grammar. But we already had that um, before ChatGPT and all that. We already had grammar checkers. And to be frank with you, over time, I rather want to pay humans, but I'm sure these humans will probably use AI anyway. But in the long run, I prefer human editors. So I I I I I don't see why people are worrying, but I see also why they are worrying. Because if again you're doing something that doesn't require mastery, something that doesn't require skilled knowledge and actual human understanding, it's not gonna be good for you because if it can be automated, it will be automated. That's always been the case, and it will always be the case. But you cannot automate the creation of original ideas. You can't because there are infinite original ideas. The moment you create new ideas, a void is created to create more ideas. So hard work is here to stay. Perhaps it may be less painful sometimes, possibly. Perhaps there are things you have wanted to do that you couldn't do before, and this may help to some degree. But we'll see. When it comes to coding or freelance work, right? People suggest using AI to find clients. Like as it stands now, people hate receiving AI messages. There's already enough spam, more than enough spam out there, and people hate AI messages. When you're on LinkedIn and you get AI comments, people hate that. because that what people want is a person expressing themselves. I'm talking to you as me. I'm real, right? I'm a real person. Or am I? And so you know what I'm saying to you is what I'm actually thinking, what I'm feeling, and that's what you want. You want a genuine opinion. We are human beings, and that's what we want. We don't just seek out information; we seek out connections. That's what we do as people. It's our nature. So if you are trying to reach out to clients and you get your AI thing to write for you, it's gonna be a problem somewhere along the line. You will have issues with that client relationship, and when you trace it back, it will be because of what was set up during the initial process. And I see people advocating for AI, even people who should know better, but I think many of them are doing it because that's what people want. So I don't blame them, but people want to believe AI is a thing. It's not. You're still gonna have to do your work. Period. You are going to have to do your work. I think I may have talked about vibe coding. Try, if you're a serious developer, right, a freelancer or working for a company, try coding for a week and see whether you won't be fired within hours of starting doing that. It just doesn't work. That's not reality. It's just a fantasy that people have built, and for some reason, it's just proliferating our world, right? And I think a lot of it has got to do with the social media thinking, Instagram thinking, which accelerated during the COVID pandemic, where people are at home consuming so much internet content, and it just became another form of pandemic of the mind, where people think they're not gonna have to learn programming, which is ridiculous, and they're gonna use some kind of generative AI to write code and create a useful application. That's just never gonna happen. Never. Right? So I keep ranting about it because it keeps irritating me. And I've been part of some discussions online where people use generative AI as an excuse for why they can't do well or they're not doing well. Where they think, for example, consultants who think generative AI will replace them. But when people hire a consultant, they don't just want the information. They want accountability. They want someone to hold them accountable. They want the human perspective and understanding, the experience, and just someone to talk to. Like, who wants to talk to a machine all day? I don't. Do you? So it's not a thing where it's capable even of taking away what we want as humans. We are human beings. We want love. We want to be respected. We want to have a family. We want to have friends, right? Some kind of connection with people. So everything we do is to attain that. And people will reject, art, code, anything produced by AI, ultimately will be rejected by people who can afford to reject it, right? Because it may come to a point where it will be expensive not to use things created by AI, but I don't even see that as a realistic scenario. And so, yeah, that's my little rant on that. But I want to come back to freelancing a bit. So I'm curious about how things are working out for attracting clients, right? Especially for developers. Because if you have worked with agencies, I think a lot of agencies are struggling as well. So that agency work is getting tricky. And we are past the what's it called? The gold rush of the internet. We are past that stage. So where we are now, you really have to really know how to become good with marketing. And I'm thinking that cold outreach is the best way to attract clients these days, or one of the best ways to actually, message people with something useful, something valuable, and attract them that way. And I'm wondering what works for you. So you could leave a comment, or share, what you're thinking. But I'm doing research, and I'm trying to see what could be universally adaptable, something that can work not just for me and for others as well. And another thing I wanted to say is I've been doing my 21-day writing challenge, and the challenge is to write 60,000 words in 21 days. So today is day 8, and I'm at over 20,000 words. So that means I'm about a third of the way there. So that means I'm right on target, or more or less on target. And it's been quite an interesting experience that I'm glad I did. So 60,000 words, that's basically a novel size amount of words written, right? And the restrictions I gave myself, or the constraints, are that I just have to write those words. So these are not edited words, and editing doesn't count as writing or as words. So I have periods during the day where I just get on with writing. Today I was able to write about 5,000 words. So that's great. And I'm glad I was able to do that. Quite an experience. Um, I have to admit, I've not been as consistent as I should have been with my writing. And this is my way of getting back into the rhythm. And I'm realizing that 5,000 words a day is not a lot at all. And the good thing is, it was actually because of AI that I've had to write more. Because, you get some work that's like your bread and butter, you get a little bit lazy because you do it more or less on autopilot because you've done it for a long time. So that some of that did dry up for me, right? So I realized I had to step up my game to the real level. When I started out on online first, one of my first sites, or my first couple of sites, I really put a lot of effort into creating content. It's really unfortunate that at the time I didn't understand how important the content was. I just went by instinct, realizing, okay, if I write, people will come to my site. I didn't know that was actually a thing, and later it became a thing that it is now. And so now I've realized that even 5,000 words in a day, it's it's barely anything, because I've had days, 5,000 word days, but I wasn't writing 5,000 words every day. And I was writing somewhere between 3,000, mm, again, sometimes 5,000 word days. Say 3,000 words a day, 2,000 words a day. Mm, Lazy days, 1,000 words a day. And because I was, it was easier to have different sources of income to combine them, I was getting away with that. And now that's not gonna cut it. I think at some point I may have to step it up to as much as 7,000, maybe 10,000 words a day. We'll see, you know. But um, you have to get serious. I'm not saying write as much, but if you are promoting yourself online and you want to have the best jobs, the best gigs, the best contracts, the best freelance work, you are going to have to build up your image and the things you create. So it doesn't have to necessarily be writing. If you create videos, then it may mean that you may have to create 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 videos a day, every day, or every working day. It may be that, and not because you're trying to keep up with AI, but because you need to create enough content and a big enough catalog for when somebody discovers you, so they can uh, uh, go through it and learn from you. And that's what I'm doing now. That's what I'm doing now. As I'm rebuilding what I started building before and realizing how things have changed, I have to increase my output, So I have so many, like I said, like just from last week, I have about 20,000 words that some of it will be published. Some of it is proprietary information that I will not release. Some of it I will release behind a paywall. But I'm building up the stuff. I'm refining my ideas. And one of the things I actually realized about productivity is that, so there are three things I really realized this week. One is, to do more, you have to do less. To do more, you have to do less. What does that mean? You literally have to reduce the number of things on your to-do list, because I think I alluded to it the other time, but you can't finish all. But now I realize that that's really like a big thing, that you have to do less and fewer things, but become really good at those few things. That's one. Two, don't expect the results right away. So, like for example, with my writing challenge, it may take it will take some time before I get the results from doing all this writing, if I keep steady with it. So now, writing has become, again, a major part, right? Perhaps a bigger part in my life than it has been before. So that straight away takes away all the other 10 things that I enjoy doing or might want to do for work. So that's what it is. You have to reduce the things you do, because then you don't get overwhelmed, and then you can actually do the things you are doing more. We have this illusion in our minds. We have this belief that when we have a long list, we're gonna do it all, and that's what it is. But that's not what it is. I remember Tony Robbins talked about massive action, and I agree with the idea of massive action. But again, it should be massive action with just a couple of things, if possible, maybe even one thing, because even that one thing probably encompasses several elements that come together to make it work. So that's one thing I've really realized. Another thing I realized about getting more done and being more productive is that it's not just about the work you're doing, it's a lot about everything else you're doing outside of your work. So, what you do for fun, how you keep healthy, how you eat, your relationships with other people, your love life, your hobbies, your passions, those things play a big role. Because I realized that the past week I've actually been much happier, because I would do the right thing to the so as long as I'm on target, actually gives me this adrenaline boost. And when I have time to just have fun, I can just concentrate on the fun. I'm not worried about work, because I've done what I was supposed to do, right? I'm done with what I told myself I would do, and I've met the target. So I'm happier for that. So I've really, really enjoyed that. And the other thing I've realized about being productive is you really have to have faith in your vision, in your long-term vision. So if you don't have a long-term vision, you have to work on building it. You really have to just trust and let go. And it is scary, you know, it is scary to let go of that fear that you're not gonna make it, or when things seem to be falling apart, that you're not going to find a way. But all you can do is what you have in front of you today. So when you realize that and you accept that and you just engage with it, somehow you get through, and you will find a way. So before, I used to think of being productive more as forcing myself to do what I had to do. But now it's more about just accepting that, okay, this is what I'm doing, and then creating an environment for myself where I can do that, but also making sure I have fun, making sure I can relate to my friends and my family and the people I care about, making sure that I do things to keep myself healthy and strong, and just enjoy my life in general. So you get this. balance. Maybe, I don't believe in work-life balance. I think that's just nonsense. And I don't believe in that because it doesn't exist. You have to just there is a balance, but the balance is not the it's not, it doesn't just come to you. You have to work on it. It's not something you can expect anybody else to provide for you. So I don't believe in that, but I do believe in having a balance in your life, right? And sometimes you have to work more, have less fun. Sometimes you get to have more fun and do less work. It's not going to be constant. And then you have your family that you take care of, and that is unpredictable, and it's not something that is going to ever be the same, right? Every day is a new challenge. So to expect life to just give you a balance is not going to happen. There's going to be good times, and then there's going to be harder times, right? But things can still be good, especially when you have good people around you, and as long as you love yourself. So those are the main things that I wanted to share with you from this week. I'm looking at what topics to talk about. I think I should do one drinking session soon. Get a nice bottle of whiskey and share it with you here because I love it. Maybe next week. And be brave. Take risks. Take risks. Do things that people are scared of doing, and be willing to do less, but do the few things really, really, really well. And allow yourself, even if it's a year or two, maybe 3 years, because that's how long it might take, maybe four, maybe five, for you to get to where you want to be with that. Don't waste time fooling yourself that what you're doing now is working when you know it's not. Don't waste your time not doing work that has cumulative value. Don't think AI is going to take away your job. It's not. If it does, then you're gonna find a better job. If it does take away your job, it means your job was shaky already anyway. So increase your skill level, understand what you're doing better, become a foremost world class expert on what you're doing. Some say it takes 1,000 hours to become world class at a thing. Maybe that's true. And then just keep going. You're gonna make it. You're gonna do it. And then if you use AI to assist you, then great. Then that's a great thing to do. And other than that, just you know believe believe in who you are. Learn how to discern between what you just do because the society has told you you need to do. Discern from that and what you really believe, what's in your heart. Follow your passion, but it doesn't mean your passion has to pay your bills today. It could be paying your bills in 10 years or in a year. We don't like to think in the long term because we think it's too long. We think along the way it's not going to be fun. It is going to be fun. You are going to have good things. And you have to be thankful, grateful for what you are, and that's what I'm learning. Uh, you know, it's been hard going through the family courts. That really has taken a bit of a toll on me, but that's life. Perhaps I'll share more later. If you have had a similar experience, do share. And I'm glad to have a discussion with you. And I've met some great people. I've had some nice calls from LinkedIn. We are about running out of time, so I can't really mention names. I don't to mention names because I don't know if the names want to be mentioned. And also, if I miss somebody, then now I've missed a name. So I don't want to do that. But I am grateful that you are here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Send me a message, get in touch, go to wpcover.com and get in touch through there or just my LinkedIn or anywhere else you find me on social media. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. And I think at this point, I can safely say, have a nice day. It's been good seeing you. See you again next week. This is John Paul. I'm a WooCommerce developer. Get in touch if you need help. If you need help with some of your content, I'm happy to give you some advice based on experience. And other than that, I will see you next week. Thank you for watching. All the best.